So, alright. So in order, just called with the inspection. Did you see it? Yeah. So this is basically what their hourly rate is gonna be, right?
Well, they've said they think it's about $26,000 to check the quality of construction of this new bridge.
Okay.
I just went back and looked at what we paid them so far for the design and to help us get the grant. And it's a total of $20,000, almost $21,000. I think this is a little bit much.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was wondering what they actually needed to inspect that much, you know?
I don't know that we paid for inspections when we did Dearborn Bridge.
I don't think so.
And, I don't know. You know, there might be a few things that you want to have inspected. Which is maybe the casting of the beams or something. But I would like to, you know, it's kind of like asking the fox, you know, what part of the hen house can I ignore, you know? But I'd like to talk to Steve Estes and see what does he think of the critical portions of the
Right,
project.
that's what I was gonna see that.
And
I see where you're going with it now, yeah.
My interactions with Steve is not always good, but watching him in construction is he knows his business pretty well.
Right.
He knows where the critical steps are. Maybe there's a couple of things that need to be checked just to make sure compaction of the backfill or something is correct. But I'm not sure we need $26,000 worth of services.
Will they parcel it out price-wise? I mean, it's like, yeah, but well, you know, would they do a little, like, okay, we don't need all of that, will you do just X?
Yeah.
Or is it just a package deal that they say, oh, well, you know, we're gonna spend X amount of time and
No, I think they'll do what we contracted with. And
okay.
have it here somewhere. We had I got too much paper laying around. We talked with them back during the design review, and there were just a few things that we talked about. I got to find it somewhere. I think it was just to go look at the process of the beams being cast, just to make sure that, you know, it becomes critical that they get the rebar in the right spot and stuff like that. Maybe when they're placing the beams down,
Who distributes the grant money when that comes to that point? I mean, is that tied into?
So the way it works is
Their inspections?
The way it works, and this is why we had to get all the money set aside in advance, is we pay the bill and the state reimburses us when we submit them a thing. We can only ask for 3 reimbursements. They have to be done within a certain amount of time. Calderwood Engineering's costs can be included, but that's going to come out of our money because we're getting $200,000 and it's costing us $220,000. So I'd like to minimize the cost. I'm sure Steve Estes said, "Don't worry about it. We'll just take care of it."
That's what I would think any
And
big construction company would say, you know.
So I don't know. I don't think the state has any requirement for us to do inspections, but there are some requirements in getting the grant money to keep some records and stuff. Anyway, I'd like to just go talk to Steve and see. I think we should do some, but not much.
Not all of it.
Dale, were you asking if we were not compliant with all the checks, if we wouldn't qualify for a grant fund?
I was just wondering how it was all intertwined with Caldwell Engineering and that grant.
No, I don't think any of this is required by the state.
Yeah.
If we had in-house, capabilities to
Engineer.
do the engineering, test, like he's proposing that we do the concrete tests. I know a lot of places now you get a certificate from the concrete maker.
So much PSI.
And then you got 400 PSI concrete, or you got 600 PSI concrete, or whatever. And they don't actually cast it and test it, because by the time you get the test done, the concrete's already built. And the project could be over.
Yeah, it seems like a lot, it's basically a babysitting service at this point, you know what I mean? Make sure he does it right.
You guys did see that, Maine DOT did not approve of the design because of the, it says Maine DOT, does not allow Lego block abutments in our inventory for the risk of scour and questions about longevity. So, they don't like the Lego block construction at the base. It's not the beams, it's the base.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can tell you, but if they had to come along and cast all that, it would have been a much bigger project. As it is, most of it can be cast off-site, brought in and set in place. Anyway, that's it. Just wanted to let you know what I thought. And if you really want to go talk to Steve and see what he thinks.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Like I said, there's always a danger that you ask a question. Mislead you, but you're gonna have some base for it.
Robin's gonna call the plumber, and, put it down in the, you saw the video, plus the toilet. Thank goodness it doesn't go on the floor, it just goes back into the toilet bowl. I just put a sign on the door, out of service. Hold it on that. To get a chance to look over, I did change this room agreement a little bit, to say that for dates, from one date to another date, so it has some expiration date on it.
I don't have a problem with it.
You
Just
guys
that
think
if there's other people using the, community room, but they won't have access to the,
right, that's why,
kitchen yet.
yeah, that's why, I said, to, that we coordinate with Robin.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be doing what, when, so.
Nope, I don't think we've done a lot of people knocking down doors to rent.
Right. Kathy, I'm talking about, couple of agreement for our fish store down there.
Great, yeah, he said you do something.
Yeah. Anything else you wanna add to it, or I'll run this by the group too, so.
I'm sorry, I was texting Chris to let him know that the culvert on Lehman Road, we have it, water was running right down the road, the culvert was iced. So Brent chipped and got it, and it didn't think that it was gonna let go, but it just let go while we were in the public hearing, so I was just letting you know, so, it's all good, but I missed what you were saying, I apologize.
About the, room agreement, with, as far as other times that we wanna use the facility, other than the first store, we'll coordinate with you, we'll see who else may have a book or something like that.
Okay.
And you are gonna call the plumber for.
Yep.
That's it. I'll put space down here to assign the people to sign.
If it's a small event, like a small birthday party or something, and you happen to be open, would you be opposed to somebody going into the hallway to get to the kitchen? I mean, they could go through the freezer room, but in that case, like if it's the end of the month, you have that planned out, that somebody wants to actually rent the gym.
Yeah.
You know, for let's say 4 hours or whatever, but, they wanna get into the kitchen to rinse dishes and use the fridge or
Yeah.
whatever,
We don't usually use the kitchen. I mean,
no, but it's essentially going into the space, cause you keep things in the hallway,
Yeah,
you know, so I just don't want, there to be a problem with like, boundaries, so to speak, you know what I mean?
hey, if they wanna come in and buy something too.
Okay.
I mean, we
Yeah.
don't.
I mean, unfortunately, like with the rehearsal for the dance, they used the hallway
Yeah.
change, and, Sarah was working that Saturday morning, and she texted me a picture, which I had seen it before, and I mean, the hallway is filled, so, it would have run the risk potentially of somebody bumping into something, but, I don't think that they would have, you know, intentionally harmed
Right.
anything, but,
Yeah, we didn't wanna leave anything in.
but that's an exception. It would be
Yeah, right.
more kids running around with, you know, depending upon what the occasion is, birthdays and stuff, into that hallway, so, maybe just locking your doors and into the, you know, if you get concerned about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully that, something like that probably will come few and far between, you know.
Mhm.
If you want somebody to, if somebody wants it at the end of the month, you know, something small,
Mhm.
That's why I put down on the calendar, mark that date, so we kinda reserve it.
Right, but if somebody calls, and wants to have a birthday and it's, you know, a few hours, if we can make it work,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they can go in through the freezer room, we can close the door into the kitchen from our end too, so we totally isolated each other.
yeah. The only time I tend to, shy away, you know, in terms of not necessarily turning people away, but I have conversations with about this holiday time, you know, because I try to be respectful of the people's holiday time for fall in terms of opening, closing.
Yeah,
You know, our hours change around Thanksgiving, Christmas here, but it's worked out so people have had holiday parties like a couple weeks before or even after Christmas.
yeah.
But aside from that, I think we can accommodate most people.
Mhm.
Sometimes they change their mind for whatever reason. When I call them back, they've left me a message, but for the most part, I think it works out. So if we can continue to make it work, if it happens to fall, you know, on that weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe you can persuade them to like a Sunday.
Well, you know, people can't pick their birthdays, Jimmy.
Well, no.
We celebrate them, though.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of a Saturday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Oh, no, I know.
Or even in the have them in the afternoon, I mean, we
Yeah.
usually set like 2 o'clock.
Good idea there too.
Yeah.
I think most people with, what I'm finding with any sort of parties, they schedule it, you know, for a good 2 hours earlier before the event come in and set up.
Set up, yeah, yeah.
It goes beyond streamers these days. People have big balloon displays and all this sort of stuff.
Fancy houses and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
All right, reminder, planning board meeting Thursday night, 7 o'clock. You got anything, Robin?
No, that's it.
Got anything, Kathy?
When's the senior lunch?
It's the 19th?
Yes.
That's next week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah. Third Wednesday?
Yeah, great. Library's chugging along. We have the grants request in. it's been acknowledged. We should know this coming week as to whether we're gonna get it or not. I don't have any problem with that. I think it will be fine. I got a little bit of a price quote from Mechanical Services, if they were to do the coil replacement. I think my next, javelin throw will be, okay, if you, at Atlantic Comfort, aren't gonna repair, what's going on, I'm gonna talk to the insurance company because they paid for a completed service. It is not. It has never been.
Oh.
You got a problem. Don't quit where that's gonna go, put a big grin, okay, next volley over that. Mechanical Services wanted $9,400. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the proper amount of money for the job, but he's saying, oh, a couple of days and a couple of guys, plus the parts. I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, we're just a little library, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is a behemoth, but it's standard operating procedure in the industry.
Yeah.
There are newer, cheaper things perhaps. I'd like to get it replaced with something that was quieter and did the job. That's where I'm headed with it, but I don't know that I'm gonna get that. So, we'll see. The other is, finding out, when we're gonna get money from the town, because now the, town meeting is in September, as opposed to March, or June, which is what it was last year. So there's a big gap in time.
Town meeting.
Yeah.
So, the town meeting is in the second Saturday in September.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It'll be directly after that.
Yeah.
That's a long gap in between. We don't have heating during that time, which is true, but we are doing the heat pumps for air conditioning. We have the electric, so it's not as bad. We cashed in some savings that we had from the past. They had been CDs that we rolled over into the endowment, and so that's just the interest plus the amount of the CDs. And that should be able to hold us over for a while. Matt's running some numbers to find out exactly what it's gonna cost us, or close enough. So hopefully we'll be okay, but September's a long way off, so.
How did your heat pumps do this winter?
Well, because the heating system itself wasn't working very well, it was a $400 monthly charge that month. That was for November. By December, we finally had the stuff working.
I would think that maybe, if you do run into a problem, maybe the auxiliary could chip in a little bit.
That might be a possibility. I don't know. We'll find out what our numbers are gonna look like. We should be done with it in about a week or so.
Yeah.
So we'll have some sort of guesstimate by next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've got something that I can tell the board now.
Yeah.
Cool. Other than that, no, we're doing okay. Thank you.
Jack, any?
Not right now. Not right now.
What about you guys?
We want to get a generator test now.
Is it operational, or is it, you just gotta test it?
We gotta test it, but the guy finally took the money. Did you see the email?
Yeah. Dale?
Just, generally the guys on board doing it, like you said, and like I told you, you could have a couple days.
Yeah.
To shut the heat down. So it won't be right off, but
Yeah.
even if you get to a warm weekend, he said it'd be willing to do it then.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever you can.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get done.
Thanks.